to season 2 Talk with Olena podcast, the podcast for immigration practitioners in Canada. I'm super happy to start season 2 of my podcast. And this season, I decided to bring in some guests to learn more about their business journeys, their business challenges, and just generally how they operate their immigration practices in Canada. I'm always happy to learn from other business owners. I think it's just the best thing we can do is keep learning from each other. So today is our first guest, Rhea Patel. Rhea went just crazy growing with her business in the last 4 years. In the last 4 years, she grew literally from zero, from being laid off to a multi-figure company, right? So I'm super happy to jump into conversation with Rhea, but before I do that, I want to make an announcement that I actually already set up a date for my next cohort of my RCIC business coaching program. So if you don't know about it, I run an online business coaching program. I do it by cohorts. So we just finished our spring cohort, and I had RCICs, finishing my RCIC business program. And I just set a date for my September start for a full 2024 cohort. So if you are interested, and if this is something of your interest to enroll into RCIC business course, then please go down below to the description of this podcast and you can find the link to the waitlist. You can enroll into a waitlist, and that way you can secure your priority pricing and priority access. I will be giving priority access to only to a waitlist and priority pricing only to a waitlist. So if you're looking to enroll into September cohort of RCIC business coaching, then go down below and click the link. And now we're going to jump into conversation with Rhea. I'm super excited to learn from her, so let's dive into it. Hi Rhea, and welcome to my podcast, Talk with Olena. Thank you so much for joining me today. You're actually my first guest of season 2. Wow. So we're starting our season 2, and in this season I decided that it would be cool to bring some RCICs, immigration lawyers that can share their business experience, because we all do our businesses in so many different ways, and there is no cookie cutter kind of a blueprint on how you can manage your immigration practice. So I thought it would be super interesting to talk to you, because I've known you for I don't even know how many years now, probably 5 years.
I think 5 years, yeah.
Yes, and I remember I was thinking about it, and I remember that I don't even know how we met. I know it's through Instagram, and I remember you had 7,000 followers or something like that. And now you guys have how many followers?
I think, I'm not even sure. I think we're around 180,000 now.
Wow, this is crazy.
Thank you.
You guys grew a lot.
Thank
So yeah, I wanted to chat with you about your business, because you grew a lot, not only in terms of your following on Instagram or TikTok, but also in terms of your actual business, employees, and your immigration practice. So it's very, very interesting to me always to chat with immigration consultants that manage this business model that I call a beast of a business model, because I know how much of a skill and of time and effort it is required for a business owner to manage this huge practice, right? So yeah, let's start kind of from the beginning. When did you get licensed?
Well, firstly, Olena, I just want to say thank you for having me on the podcast. What you're doing for RCICs is amazing. The knowledge and the education that you're putting out there, I just love it. I watch your videos, and I know it's helping a lot of RCICs. So thank you so much for doing this. So now just wanted to praise you for a second, because you deserve that. Now back to your question. So
Thank you.
I actually got my license I started my program in 2017, got my license in 2018, but I was actually working for immigration firms before that. So I've actually been doing immigration since I was 18 years old, like working in immigration.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that. So you worked in an immigration firm previously, and if you don't mind me asking, that immigration firm, was it like a small firm or a bigger firm?
Yeah, it was like not a huge firm, but like pretty famous in our local area.
Okay, okay. So when you got into your business in you said 2017, 18, right? You already had like kind of a good idea of how things work in terms of like processes within the company, right?
Yeah. So basically, when I got into my business practice, I had already come from an immigration firm. So I think I worked from when I got my license, I worked in an immigration company for a couple of years before I actually, during COVID, I opened up my immigration firm. So
Okay.
while I was licensed, I worked with a company, and then I went into my own practice with one of my business partners that I met actually at my previous company. His name is TJ. So TJ and I opened up the venture together, TNC Immigration. And it's a funny story because we actually got laid off from our previous company when all the layoffs were happening during COVID.
Oh wow, like big mistake, because they didn't know that immigration is going to pick up so much, right?
Yeah. I was, really upset at that time, but I was like, I can't just sit at home and do nothing. I need to work. I need to do something just to keep my peace of mind. I just need to do something. So that's when I got onto making videos. I started making videos on YouTube, on Instagram. We didn't even have reels back then. It was just like making videos and putting it up as a post, right?
Yeah, those times.
I don't think, and then TikTok, became so famous as well. During COVID, where everybody was home at home doing nothing, scrolling, and then TikTok took over. So I was like, let's hop onto TikTok. So
right now, because I'm not on TikTok, like I just like I can't do it. I just can't. But
it is a difficult platform. Let me tell you that much. It is very difficult. You don't want to go viral on there. You want your views to stay low.
I did go viral on TikTok, and like after like literally like 1 month of doing that, I was like, I just can't handle it. Like I can't. It's crazy.
And even in the recent days, especially, there's a lot of weird comments on there, weird things happening on TikTok. I don't even know if your video goes to the wrong side of the public, then you'll have to turn off those comments.
The same, even bad. Yeah, I can only imagine what it is now, but I don't even go there for entertainment because it's just like too crazy for me. But for you guys, it's like for you, Instagram or TikTok is more of your like primary platform. Which one?
Right. So it's always changing, Olena, to be very honest with you. Like some weeks Instagram is our primary source of getting information out there, and then some weeks it's TikTok, and it's always a type of information as well. I think if we're giving more information to students, let's say, then TikTok would be a better platform. But if we're giving information about targeted draws, something to cater to healthcare workers or STEM, then it would be more Instagram, right? So it's just different types of audiences that we're catering to on different platforms. So
that's very smart, because TikTok, would you say that TikTok is still kind of like a younger platform, like in terms of the following? Yeah, that's why the students are kind of like more there, when a little bit more of a professional audience would be Instagram, right?
Yes. That's the right word to use, professional audience. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, well, that's just kind of insane, how I say fast, because like you grew, because it has been like 4 years, since 2020, and right now it's 2024, so 4 years that it took you to grow your firm. But still, it's kind of fast, because you guys now opening the office, or you already opened the office in Ontario, but you are from BC, so now you have 2 offices, BC and Ontario.
Yes. So
Okay.
I actually have two offices now, and my third location is coming in Kelowna, BC.
Third
Um,
location. Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
you're just killing me.
I know. I'm like I'm all over the place right now, but I just feel like this is the time to do it. So yeah, I just opened up in Mississauga about 3 to 4 months ago, and
Mhm.
that's been pretty good. I already had a lot of clients from Ontario.
Yeah.
So when we opened up there, they just wanted to meet us in person. There's a lot of clients that don't prefer doing phone calls or Zoom calls. They like the in-person interaction. So that was what I had thought when I opened up that office, that it's going to be for my clients that I've already, retained, and they just want to meet me in person. But then when we announced the office opening, we got like a great response. A lot of people that were following us told us that we actually were holding off to retain your services until we don't meet you in person, and we are really happy that you're here. So I'm glad I took that step. And my third location now in Kelowna, it's actually, I'm not sure if you know where that is, but it's about a 4-hour drive from here. It's in the Okanagan, and that's around like Vernon, Kamloops area. So a lot of universities, colleges, I'm sure that you've dealt with a lot of universities there. So they have a lot of there's a lot of demand there for immigration consultants there as well right now.
Wow, yeah, that's you're moving fast, but that's awesome. Like I feel like I have so many questions, so I'm just gonna start asking them. So, okay, if we go back to like your early days, so you and TJ started your joint venture, right?
Yeah.
And then who was your next hire? Like did you guys hire right away like a legal assistant or
Yeah.
okay, when did you feel like you need to hire? Did you guys even process cases by yourself or you just hired legal assistants right away?
No. We started off just me and TJ. We didn't feel the need to hire anybody during COVID, and especially because, as you know, like a lot of offices were doing work from home at that time. I didn't even think, honestly, at that point of time, I never even had the thought of hiring somebody. It was always, I thought it was just going to be me and TJ. We'll run the show and we're going to do all the files and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
So when we started getting the work, we sat down, we're like, okay, I think it's time to get some help. So we more so then started looking for an assistant to help us with the paperwork and everything, like gathering everything, contacting the client. So then we hired somebody.
So that was how
I think that was 6 months, 6 to 8. I can't exactly quite remember, but I think it was about the 8th month into business that we hired somebody. Yeah.
And that was somebody working remotely or already like in person?
No. So at that point, we had gotten an office location here in Surrey. And that's when we thought that, okay, it's time to now hire somebody. So it was working from our office in Surrey.
Okay, and so you hired like first legal assistant, I guess, right? And then how many employees you have right now?
So we are a team of about, I'll say, 20 right now.
Wow.
And from which we have about 5 RCICs.
Okay, do you still represent cases as an RCIC or you still represent? Okay. So you have team about 20 and then about 5 RCICs and the rest would be legal assistants, right?
Yeah.
And then some, I assume, admin staff.
Some admin, receptionists, yeah. So basically legal assistants, receptionists, yeah.
That's insane. And I know you guys, like you of course mentioned that you already have 2 offices, you're opening up the 3rd one. So I'm assuming that all of this staff is working like in person. It's not remote, right? Like it's all in Canada staff.
Yes.
So why I'm bringing this up, because it's actually like super common topic for conversation and question like during my coaching programs, because people tend to be so tempted, especially immigration consultants from like Indian origin. People tend to be so tempted to hire somebody virtually from, for example, India or Ukraine. Like I'm Ukrainian, so from Ukrainian RCIC community, a lot of them have Ukrainian legal assistance from Ukraine because, of course, it's cheaper, right?
Yeah.
So why did you opt out, especially like in COVID times and after COVID times, to like more of like 100% in-person firm, especially, because you could have technically cut down so much cost, because Canadian payroll is so expensive.
It's crazy. To be very honest, I never even had the thought of hiring overseas. Like, yes, there are people who say if you hire overseas, you're going to cut the cost dramatically. But I personally, as a consultant, I like to monitor every file that's coming through, what work is being done. And I feel better. I feel more comfortable when my legal assistants are there with me. I'm able to look at every single thing that's happening. Now, it's not micromanaging. Don't mistake this for micromanaging. But as our responsibility for RCICs, we really have to make sure that we're reviewing every single thing that's going into files. What's the communication happening with the client? And the last thing is providing jobs to Canadians, right? If I'm a Canadian firm, if I'm working in Canada, I'm generating revenue in Canada, then my job is to also hire Canadians and give back to the community as well, right? So I have to make sure that it's coming and it's going and it's staying in Canada. So I wouldn't say that you cannot hire overseas workers, but majority of your staff should be, I think, local or around you within Canada. Even if they're working remotely, that's okay. If they're not in another province, you're able to communicate with them. There's not much of a time difference with you, and they're able to serve your clients well, then I think it's still okay. I know there are some consultants who operate with that model. It's working really well for them as well. But I think it just depends on person to person what you're comfortable with. And I've always worked in an environment where everyone works together in one office space. They collaborate ideas, they work on files together. If somebody's stuck on something, they'll discuss it, they'll go walk up to somebody. And when you're working remotely, you may not have the freedom to do that, right? Or if they're in another time zone, you may not be able to pick up the call and say, hey, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this, right? So I think that things get messy, and then that's when your customer service drops as well. So if you're not able to keep in touch with your team, your customer service might suffer as well.
Yes, exactly. No, I totally agree with you. And, there is no right or wrong, but there are definitely pros and cons to hiring somebody overseas. For me, the biggest one, and that's why I don't think I will ever be comfortable hiring outside of Canada, is honestly like legal side of things, that we deal with sensitive information all the time. We literally receive documents with clients, bank accounts with clients, obviously passports and everything. It's so much sensitive information. And if I hire, somebody in Ukraine and they just decide to scam the client, then what I'm gonna do? Like, what, I'm gonna go to Ukrainian police, or like, there's nothing I can do. And in Canada, we have, of course, legal framework, right? And employment agreements and all of that kind of stuff that would protect you. And that was the biggest thing, because I had a couple of years ago, I had a very good candidate for the position. And she was very, very good. And I can say that she probably would be very successful at this position. But time difference, I just couldn't deal with that. Like, it was like about 12 hours time difference. I'm like, I don't even know how we're going to work. Number one. And number two, it was the problem with like, it's not even about trust, right? It's just, if something happens, I cannot control. Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe your husband does something to you. I don't know, like throw out.
You never know.
You don't know, right? Like, you maybe, I don't know, you spill something on a laptop and then like whatever, something gets messed up, right? You cannot know that. So this is the scariest part for me, for sure. So I totally understand you there. And but like having about 20 people working for you and having almost now 3 offices in Canada, like, you've created a kind of a machine, and I'm sure it gets a bit stressful and a bit overwhelming.
Just a bit.
Just a bit.
Oh man.
How do you deal with that? Like, honestly, let me just tell you like a little bit about my process of thinking. And when I started my immigration practice, it was 8 years I think ago. And 8 years ago, I'm kind of a person that I need to understand my like big vision before I do anything. So I needed to understand, okay, which business model I'm going for. Am I going for the business model of TNC immigration, or am I going for the model of just a boutique firm when it's just me and maybe one or two employees, and it's just like very, very boutique kind of firm with high fees, that kind of vibe. And I needed to understand. It took me like about a year maybe to even make up my mind of like which model is my personal choice, because it's just it's almost like a lifestyle choice, right?
It is.
Because you're creating these two completely separate lifestyles for yourself.
Yeah.
And what I realized is that, well, number one is that I don't have a skill set to manage the large teams of like 20 people or even 10 people or even 5 people. Honestly, I just know that about myself. I don't have that skill set. I've never worked for anybody else in my life except myself. This is my first job. Like, I've been managing like overall business for 10 years. I've never worked in a team of people. I don't know what to do with team of people. So I was like, okay, like that's going to take a while to learn how to do all of that. And then number two is that I just felt like it's honestly just like on a mental level too much for me. And I felt like my brain just like cannot handle this. Like I just can't, like it's too much.
Yeah.
So how did you, first of all, like pick this model, or did it just happen? And how do you deal with this like pressure and stress and all of that?
See, to be very honest, there's no one way to deal with the pressure or the stress. Of course, I feel like I stressed out way more than when we were a smaller team than right now, because of the fact that I have an amazing team. My team is able to help me out so much now with the things that I have to do on a daily basis, the things that I have to tackle on a daily basis. So having the right people in the right position is a huge thing to combat that stress. The second thing is to delegate down to people that work for you, take away that workload, and making sure that I'm not trying to do every little thing in my company, right? So
I think you said it right here, absolutely, because I think most of people, and that's just based on my experience, like working with business owners, is that they struggle, and myself included, they struggle so much with the aspect of delegation, micromanagement, and not being able to let go and just trust another person and just trust the system, that if you create the system, then it's going to work, right?
It's going to work, yes.
And that's that one step of even hiring the first legal assistant. A lot of people just can't even do that because of that delegation issue. So I totally agree that, because it's such a big key. And of course, having right people.
People and providing them with the right training. Because if you are just going to throw them into the work, they're not going to be able to do that work, and you're going to get frustrated, they're going to get frustrated, and then they're going to start leaving the company. In the employees that have been in my company, they've been stuck with me. I won't say stuck, but they love working with me from day one. I'm pretty happy to say that I have a very low turnover rate. Not many people are leaving my company. They're quite happy. Keeping them happy, keeping them well trained, keeping them updated is really going to take away your stress. So yes, you may spend time training them. It's going to that process is a bit longer. It's a bit frustrating, but once you get past that, it's going to be so worth it, because once they're fully trained, they know what you need. They know how to handle things in your team, how to handle the clients, right? So if I'm not able to get back to a client right away, they know that how they can take care of that client for the time being while I'm away from the office, or while I'm working on a file. They can help me out with tasks, small things that that I don't have to do, which would drive me probably insane if I had to do it. I wouldn't be able to expand right? So
Yeah.
the reason why me and TJ are able to do this is because we're able to train, and then we're able to delegate those things down. And then you mentioned that because you haven't worked in another firm, you wouldn't know how to expand. But actually working for another firm taught me the things that I shouldn't be doing at my company.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
So the things that I had to go through, I made sure that my employees would never have to go through those things. And the things that, as an employee of a company, how was I feeling when I was working with that company as a consultant? Now I make sure that those things don't happen to the consultants that are working with me. So I took the positive and the negative, and I pieced it together, and that's how I'm expanding and growing and keeping my team happy. In turn, my team is keeping my clients happy.
Yes, no, that's great. I'm happy you brought up the training aspect, because what I find is that it's a very common mistake that RCICs hire somebody for a minimum wage, literally like $16 an hour, and then throw them in and just expect them, and then they get frustrated with an assistant, because you're frustrated because you, as a small business, you are short on cash to pay the high wages, payroll remittance and all of that. And you're like, okay, I paid you like with a payroll remittance and everything, like say like, I don't know, $2,500 per month. And I didn't get anything in return, only you're like consuming my time, and I'm not able to do the work. And this is what I hear all the time. And I'm like, look, you cannot expect that a minimum wage worker would be doing, like, number one, don't pay the minimum wage, because
definitely you're going to get minimum work for minimum wage.
Like, that's what it is. Well, unless you are like willing to hire like really fresh of the school student, but then you should be expecting to spend them at least 3 to 6 months, like babysitting and like baby steps of everything, right? So it ends up not being minimum wage, because you're spending so much time on training. But that's what you should be spending, and you should be training properly, and only then your employees will feel supported. And as you said, Rhea, like, you will have low turnaround rate, because I've heard about some firms that they have such a high turnaround rate of employees that the clients were saying that, like, okay, this is the third legal assistant on my case, and each legal assistant doesn't know what they're doing because they just came in, and they're like, how come I work with like 3 people? Because they keep leaving, right? So yeah, like, definitely, I'm happy to hear that you're doing that. But tell me, for your Ontario office, I know you're coming soon to Ontario, and we're supposed to meet for coffee or dinner.
That's still pending. Pending. Yes.
But how often now you fly to Ontario, and who, like, is it like a full-time office? Somebody's always there, or how does it work?
Yes, so I've actually hired an RCIC there. I spent time training them in Mississauga. Now, I felt that they were fully trained, so I was able to come back to my Vancouver office for a bit. So I'm back and forth. I would say that I'm there about twice a month at least. So spending 50% of my time in Vancouver, 50% in Mississauga right now, and then TJ is there to help me. So with 2 of us, we're managing both the locations, and then the third location, we're probably gonna get another RCIC there. So it is full time right now. I have 1 RCIC and 2 one legal assistant and a receptionist there at the moment. Hopefully we'll be able to expand that pretty soon as well. Let's see how that goes. But yeah, I hired a new RCIC. He just got his license, was fairly new to all the programs, but was able to train him quite well. Got him to shadow me for consultations. So now I think he's feeling pretty confident. So when they come out of the program, the thing is that new RCICs, that you've learned the basics of the program, but will you be able to now put that into a real life scenario? When a client comes to see you, are you able to kind of navigate the situation and give them the advice that's required, right? So when you get out of that program, they know the basics, but they're not able to piece the puzzle together, right?
Exactly.
So that's when with the training is very important. a lot of consultants think that if I train so and so person, they're going to leave me in a year and then open up their own business. Okay, there's a possibility that might happen, but that consultant is going to stay with you if you treat them right, if they're being paid well, if you're challenging them every single day, they're getting the push that they need. And at the end of the day, everybody has the right to go on and open up their own business. But
of course.
I
absolutely agree with that, because you brought up a really good issue that, I hear a lot of that narrative is that, and about legal assistance as well, is that, if I'm going to train them, what if they do like ghost consulting? What if they do this? What if they do, like, you can't make business decisions out of fear.
What if,
and what ifs, and creating these scenarios in your head that may happen, may not happen. You just do your best. Yes. And, again, right people. And you know what, about RCICs, what I learned is that not everybody wants to or has a desire to have their own business. A lot of people are perfectly fine staying employees and have the job security. Because, as we learned, running your own business is super stressful. So not a lot of people want to have that.
When I first got my license, I had no idea as well that I was going to open up my own business. I had no plans, but actually it was the universe's plan, not even my plan, that I had to get laid off. I started social media off of a whim, looking at your page, looking at Florence's page. You two were literally my inspiration back then, and when I saw you guys, ladies, are doing such an amazing job, I said, okay, let me give it a try. And that's when it all started, not knowing 4 years down the road, I'll be expanding, I'll be hiring, and still doing what I love. So I was perfectly, when I finished my program, I was perfectly fine working for a company as a consultant as well. But life had its own plan, I guess, and just pushed me towards the direction that I needed to go. And if I didn't get laid off, I would probably still be working at that company, because I was comfortable, I was doing what I loved there, I was guiding clients. But I think it was just meant to be. And I always will suggest that to RCICs is work with companies first. At least give 2 to 3 years of your time. If that's too long, at least give 1 year of your time to learn, to grow, but let the company know that I have a plan to open up my own business in the future. Yes, maybe 9 out of 10 consultants won't hire you, but that one consultant might hire you.
I totally agree. Even though it is, I don't know, for me, I don't think that was a right choice to work for somebody else, even though I see how much you gain from working for somebody else for 1-2 years. Really, truly, but there, I don't know, I had always this entrepreneurship spirit that I couldn't work for anybody, and I just needed to open up right away. Okay. But for RCICs that are because a lot of them are I don't know if I should work or not work. If you are in that decision-making process, then I think you should work for somebody else.
But the thing about you, Olena, is that you are very particular on educating yourself and keeping yourself informed. So I feel like if RCICs are able to do that for themselves, then they don't need to work for anybody. If you are able to read up on the programs, you're able to inform yourself, educate yourself, and you know that you're competent to provide the right guidance and do the file for the client, then I don't think there's any reason. The only reason I would say is work for a consultant for 1 year is if you don't think that you can teach yourself. Yeah, you're not competent, you're not able to educate yourself on these things, or you're not able to put these programs together and actually guide a client. If a client is sitting in front of you and they say, okay, this is my profile, what will be your guidance? And if it's not clicking, then you need to either read up about the programs, educate yourself, or get training with another consultant. And I think now they have started a program where the consultants have to get trained with another, if I'm not wrong, the new consultants have to get
No,
trained?
there is. I think you're talking about like
Mentorship.
a new mentorship program, but
Yes.
it's not like that. So it's first of all, it's like for a fee. So you have
Okay.
it's only like voluntarily, and I think it's
Oh,
for a fee because my friend told me that he paid. I want to say $600 for it, but I'm
yeah.
not sure.
Yeah.
And they match you with a mentor, but
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure how it works.
Yeah.
But I've heard that it's very slow because this one friend, he hasn't been matched for a year and a half.
Hmm.
So I don't know if the program is working the way it's supposed to be. I know that the college is trying to make it work the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's gonna happen.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's you see they are trying. At least they're trying, because that's what they need. A lot of people do need mentorship. I actually came up with an idea because I was training an RCIC on like how to do a consultation, and when you do it, like you just do it and you don't think about it.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I have a very specific like pattern how I do my consultation, and I think we all have, right?
Yeah.
Like a specific structure and specific way. So I decided to create like a little training of okay, for new RCICs, especially for like RCICs that have been licensed like 1 to 2 years, that they can like follow my pattern, so they have a structure and they're not like all over the place. So yeah, hopefully that helps.
That was actually a very, very good program that you had designed for RCICs. That is also a great alternative to working with a consultant, rather than if you don't want to spend that 1 year, 2 years. I think the program that you had designed for RCICs to get them kickstarted into business, into entrepreneurship, that's also amazing. So
I think, but you see, with our job, there are two aspects which are so hard to juggle. There is an aspect of what you've been saying, competence, right? Like actually knowing, like the legal advice that you have to give to the client either during consultation or within the file submission. And the second aspect is actually doing the business, right? Which is also super hard, because if you've never done it before, it's like all of this, like accounting, all of the stuff that you need to figure it out, right?
Little things,
Yes, and especially if you hire in somebody in training and all that, right? So it's I feel like it's hard to juggle both. Like if you are not good in your competence level of like basic immigration programs, then and you're not good with your like business knowledge, then it becomes super difficult to function and to make money out of this, right? So at least I think for new RCICs, it's important to first like really focus on competence, on knowing actually what they're doing in terms of immigration programs, and then kind of a little bit more secondary business side will come along, and then you can invest in your business side.
You have to be good at both. You have to be a good consultant and have entrepreneurship skills, right? And then you have to put it together.
But that's so rare. That's why I'm like so amazed by you, because it's so rare when those skills meet, right? When you're like and good in that way and good in that way.
Like I said, I got inspired by a few ladies on Instagram, and you were one of them. I think good inspiration, if you have good inspiration, you have somebody to look up to, you have role models, then I think it's achievable, because you know that this is what you can do, right? You can do ethical immigration. You can do immigration, putting good information out there without being clickbait. You don't have to get into those, oh, this is happening, that is happening, this is happening. Like, read up on the programs and put correct information out there, put ethical knowledge out there. And I think that people eventually, they will come to you when they see that, okay, this person has a knowledge, they know what they're talking about. And be yourself, be authentic. I think being authentic is also like one of the number one things that I try to do. And I think that, from your content, I see that you also are so authentic in your videos, in your reels. You and Corey, you guys put out such good information out there. And it's always on point. There's never, I know that if it's coming from your page, it's 100% accurate. And that trust needs to be built as well, right? So
Yes.
that trust in turn will then turn into trust into your company, that, okay, if these guys are putting out good information, I know that their company is also going to give me good information. If I book a consultation with them, if I give them a call, I know I'm going to get the right information. No sugarcoating, no BS, clear, concise information.
Exactly. And I know like how honestly hard it is for you to, because with a team of, such a large team and several locations, it's really difficult to manage quality control, right? Because it's so, I can see like how important, and for me as well, like that aspect is. And that actually was one of the reasons why I just never was interested into like growing big, because I was like, inevitably quality would be compromised.
Yes.
But you're so like, you're so into the quality control, you're so into it. And you know what happened? I didn't tell you the story. So when I saw that you opened Ontario office, and I saw it's Mississauga, because my office is also in Mississauga, I Googled, because I was like, I wonder where in Mississauga, because so I Googled TNC immigration, and the first one, of course, it came up as Burnaby. So it comes up and I'm like 4.9 stars, and you have like a lot of reviews there. I forget how many, but a lot. 4.9. And I'm like, why is it 4.9? And I go, and then there is like literally one bad review. And I was laughing, because that one bad review is like, because you refuse to provide consultations for free. And all the other reviews, there are hundreds. I forget how many, but like it's hundreds of reviews. They're all like 5 stars. So I was like, wow, like maintaining that satisfaction rate with such a big firm is very difficult.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. And actually, for the first couple of years, it is something you're trying to figure out, how to maintain the quality of keeping your clients happy, and making sure that they are, even if like the application doesn't go as expected, how to make sure the client doesn't walk away, basically BSing your company. But now I have actually I've hired somebody in my company who actually monitors the quality as well, actually their quality control, and they help me out with keeping all of these things maintained. So making sure clients are being called back on time, making sure that they're being responded, making sure all the clients are taken care of. If there's any complaints coming through, resolving them on an immediate basis. And I think that has been a game changer as well for these kind of things, trying to catch, not saying that we're all going to get angry clients here and there. It's immigration. People want their files done yesterday, and you will face some difficulties here and there, but you just have to catch it. Figure out what you can do. Sometimes it's in your control, sometimes it's not in your control, but whatever is in your control, try to tackle it before it turns into a bigger problem. And I think if you keep like delaying it, keep saying, okay, I'll call them tomorrow, I don't want to deal with it today, that tomorrow is going to turn into a problem eventually. So no matter how hard that call is going to be, pick up the phone and just give the person a call, talk to them about the situation, explain it. And 99% clients will understand you, where you're coming from, and why that situation happened, or why that delay happened, or why that file didn't go the way it's supposed to go. But if you're not going to pick up that phone, if you're not going to communicate with that client, that will eventually turn into a problem. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe next month, maybe 6 months down the road. They will get back to you, when they get advice from somebody else that, hey, this is what should have been done in your file, and your previous consultant did this, and then they'll get back to you like, hey, you never guided me with all these things. So,
and I think it requires courage to do that as well, because I want everybody to remember that, like, honestly, we're not robots. We make mistakes too. Like, we try our best. But it can happen. Like, and it happened to me that I made mistakes, and I would pick up the phone and I would say, look, like, I'm just going to be straight with you.
Just be straight,
Like, this is what happened. Like, I'm sorry, but like that's what it is, and these are the solutions. That's what we're going to do. And and people, even if it's, well, that's a worst case scenario if it's your mistake, but most of the cases it's not really your fault. But worst case scenario if it's your fault, but you're being honest. Honestly, people appreciate honesty so much. Yeah, and they respect it, and they, even if it jeopardizes that file, they still respect it. Like, I remember I had only one express entry refusal in my 8 years of career, and it was it was the worst. It was like, I think year 2 or year 3 of my career. And I was still working from the office, and I just said, I didn't tell him that it was refused. I just said, like, hey, come to the office. I don't, maybe I did tell him. Anyways, he comes to the office, and I know that, like, I was just shaking. Like, I know that this conversation, so sit down at the table, and I say, like, just straight, it is what it is. It was refused. It wasn't my mistake, but like, I could have done, I guess it was because of knock duties. So knock duties were not like super, but it was a hard position to that kind of make
that
it match.
The most difficult part of the application.
It was not as straightforward like a cook or something, or a supervisor. It was a very, I think it had something to do with logistics and like broker, customs.
Those are difficult.
Yes, and it was difficult to deal with it. So anyways, the way, like, I could have done a better job, but it was not like my straight like fault, but still I felt like it was 100% my fault. And I come and I tell him, and we have a conversation about it, and he was a very serious guy. He was not like, oh, that's fine. No, like, he's very serious. And we have a conversation about it. I'm like, look, we're going to reapply, we're going to improve this and that. Okay, let's like pull out the laptop and let's start figuring out our plan, and this is what we're going to do. And after like 1 hour conversation, he leaves, and he tells me, like, literally that was a meeting when I told him he's refused for PR, and he leaves and he tells me like, oh, hey, Olena, by the way, my friend, he also wants to apply for express entry. I'm going to refer him to you. And I'm like, this is the art of
that is amazing. That is truly amazing.
And we reapplied. He got approved super fast, like within 3 months. It was back in days, but within 3 months he was approved. Everything is fine. And we did his sponsorship. Like, it was all good. But still, I felt like I felt very brave at that moment, because it was so hard,
It's very hard. I'll say, like, post refusal calls are like one of the hardest things to do. You were very lucky that the person was in town, but people who are not in town and they cannot come see you over a call, those things get so difficult. But I think, like I said, 99% people will understand your situation. Like this morning, I was just telling you about the withdrawal. I told the client, and he at first he was very like, oh, what happened? And and like I just to give a bit of a context on the situation, one of my files got withdrawn when it wasn't supposed to get withdrawn. And I called the client. I said, we're going to reapply. Don't worry. We're going to attach a letter of explanation this time. Don't worry about anything. And I think at first they were a bit taken back, but when I calmed them down, reassured them, they said, okay, let's try. I'm going to trust you with the next steps. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing whatever you need us to do. Just let us know what assistance you need from us. We're with you, and let's get this going. So, I really like having these conversations over a call or in person rather than using email or text. Because
sure.
You never want to do this through email or text. No. Please don't.
I feel like it's rude to do it over email. Like, hey, by the way, you got refused or withdrawn.
Yeah. I mean, initially, yes, send them the letter, but call them immediately. Hey, I sent you a letter. Just have a look at it, and I'm here to discuss the next options. Right? So usually I try to first send the letter just so they have a brief overview, but I immediately will call them after saying, okay, so you've probably already seen the letter. Let's discuss the next steps now. So I don't know if everybody would agree with this. I don't know if what you would do, Olena. What do you call first, or do you send? Would you send a refusal first?
You know what? I was just gonna say that you guys deal with a lot of temporary residents. I know it
Yeah,
like from your Instagram
yeah,
that you
yeah,
do
I know
handle.
that you don't deal with a lot of temporary residents. Yeah,
So I don't, yeah, I don't do that. So I don't, to be honest, have those situations often, maybe like once a year, like
yeah,
maybe. But with temporary residents, like ultimately you will have a refusal rate because
yeah,
it's temporary residents, like you
yeah,
will have
yeah,
applications refused.
yeah.
So, but in terms of that, like, I don't know, I would prefer like scheduling. So I would say my assistant, like, schedule a call. And
Mhm.
then during the call, I would tell them verbally, and during the call, I would send them whatever needs to be
Yeah,
sent, but we can like review it together. Because I feel like if I email first, then it just like creates panic inside,
yeah.
and
Okay.
then the call, like, it's, yeah, but I would like to have a call first.
Have a call first. Yeah, I think we try to do that. So we're always switching it up and just seeing
Yeah.
how. Yeah, but hopefully we have majority approvals and we don't have to make too many of these calls. But
Yeah.
I don't know, like recently, even it's just off the topic, but even spouse work permits, they were facing like a high rate of refusals. I
I
don't know.
know. It's just, how it is right now in immigration world. It's everything is getting messed up. Yeah.
It's very confusing to deal with.
Yes, yes, yes. I want to ask you, in terms of like your management of your firm, you guys use softwares, right? Or like, do you use any particular like softwares, like KCZ or anything like that? You don't have to say a name or anything, but I'm just wondering, like, how do you manage this big team?
Yeah, so we do have softwares in place for all the client intake. We have a software for client portals. So we make sure that we are communicating with and receiving all the documents through the software. We're utilizing Dropbox, making sure that there's backups of everything. So even if you have a CRM in place, make sure that you have several backups. So we are basically right now we're using two types of CRMs. One is kind of built by our IT team. So we have an offshore. That's something I can do offshore, my IT team.
Yes.
So I have an offshore IT team, but the main person who leads our IT is here in Canada. So I told him to build me a CRM that could kind of monitor the client intake process as well as document collection, customer service. So he's built me something like that, which is working out pretty good for us. And
So that's custom, right?
yeah, that's custom.
And the second one, it's more of a mass market?
Yeah.
Okay. But the second one, is it the one that has like client portal and all that?
Client portal and everything, yeah.
So that's like immigration kind of related.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. That's just interesting how, because for me, it's just, I don't know. It's also another thing I wanted to say is that in terms of like making that decision, like initially when you and TJ were working and then you hired first legal assistant, and TJ is he RCIC as well or no?
Yes, he's an RCIC.
So yeah, like first legal assistant, second legal assistant, but like technically, like having one RCIC, one legal assistant, two RCICs, two legal assistants, that's kind of enough. And you could have kind of stopped there technically, right?
Yeah.
But then you decided to grow further. And like my thinking is that, obviously like my business makes like certain revenue per year, right? And the way I'm thinking about it is that, okay, I can withdraw that revenue and like put it in my pocket and like, pay myself a salary or dividends, or I can take that big chunk of money and assign it to hire somebody new. Right. And then, so of course, like you constantly reinvest into your business and reinvest and reinvest. And does it feel for you like that, like you're opening third office, like, do you know when you will stop that reinvesting and you just start, taking money out basically?
To be very honest with you, I don't see me stopping anytime soon. I really have a bigger vision for TNC.
Really? Wow.
Yes. I think yes, and I don't even know right now where I'm going to stop, but this is not it. This is definitely not it.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm very excited to kind of expand TNC, not just for immigration files, but hopefully, helping people who need services such as doing the application on their own. They just need guidance, hopefully getting into ebooks, things like that. Let's see. I'm still planning all of this out, and it's all happening on a whim. It's nothing that, oh, I'm writing down my 5-year plan and this is what I want to achieve in the next 5 years. I think we're doing this very spontaneously. There's a lot of
that's
risk
the beauty of
involved.
it, because you're having fun, right?
Yeah,
Like when you're
yeah,
doing
we're having fun.
spontaneously.
And anytime I get too stressed out, or anytime TJ gets too stressed out, we just look at where we started. For me, I just start opening up my old videos and just see like, oh, I started in the office, and I'll bring myself back down. This is where I started. This is where I am now. I have grown to this point. So I don't think that I should get stressed out, or when I'm looking at a bigger picture. So yes, definitely it is something where you have to think about, okay, I have to generate a certain amount of revenue each month to make sure that my payroll is being sent out accurately. But that's what drives us, to make sure that we are working hard. We're making sure that our team is getting compensated accordingly. Everybody has work. And I think that if I was just me, or just me and TJ and 2 legal assistants, that would still be okay. But I don't think I would then have that drive to do more, right? Yes. Some days I am like, oh, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this. Can I just like go to sleep and not have to worry about bringing in a certain amount of clients, or bringing in a certain amount of work? But then I look at the bigger picture. Like I said, it's up and down every day. There's no like single day where it's like, oh, it's all good, I'm all happy and everything's going well, and another day I'm like, oh yeah, what's happening? Like, what are we even doing? So yeah, you mentioned the high payroll, the high taxes in Canada.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That's another topic for another day, but
yes, no, taxes in Canada are high, that's for sure. I wanted to ask you on kind of that topics, do you have like, again, you have like super like high workload, like not just in terms of cases, because you still represent, but also in terms of like just general work, right?
Yeah.
Like management.
Yeah.
Can I ask you how many hours you work per day or per week? I don't know.
I would say I'm constantly working, to be honest with you. Like the only time I'm
just
not
entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah, it's there's no scale. Like even I recently went to New York, and as soon as I landed from my flight, the first thing, I checked into hotel and I had work lined up for me before I head out. So it's now like I had that time off. I know this is probably not healthy. You teach this in your. I watch all your videos. You tell all the RCICs you need to have downtime. You're gonna get burned out, and I'm always trying to listen to you. But
listen, it's healthy. It's whatever is healthy to you, right? Like somebody, like if you feel good and okay. And that was my next question. Like, have you ever had burnout? Like, have you ever?
Yes, definitely. Yes, it's very natural to have burnouts. And that's when I know that I need to take a break from my business. But even if it's a day or two, I need to take a break. I need to step away. I need to do things that I enjoy. And
what do you do usually when it's like, okay, like I need to step back? What do you do?
To be very honest, spend time with my family, or take a little short trip, getaway trip. Like if I'm in Vancouver, I'll drive down to Whistler, drive down to Kelowna. That's why I opened an office in Kelowna. That can be my getaway trip now.
Yes.
But just spend time with family. I love watching movies, so I'll turn on a good movie or I'll go to the theaters. When I back in the day, I used to watch like 2 movies in the theaters like every week.
You know what? That's an amazing idea. Yeah. Yes, that's really good.
Just meet up with friends, go out. I don't drink, so I don't. The glass of wine is not for me. But I'll sit with my friends while they have a glass of wine and listen to the gossip. Yeah. To be very honest, I just do things that I love to do that I don't feel like I have that much time to do anymore. But I used to love to do cooking or baking. In COVID, I baked so much, and I just like baked every single recipe out there. And whenever I'm stressed out, so I'll bake now. It's just a bunch of things, whatever I'm feeling.
Cool.
And I have to remember, I'm just a girl. I need to go get my nails done. I need to go shopping.
That's right. No, but going back,
what do you do when you're stressed out?
I don't know. I've had a little burnout just like this May because I've had like too much on my plate, and I just took this week, like this week, I guess, in the past week off. Like I just needed. For me, it's blocking off myself from appointments, like consultations or like any meetings, right? Just like not having meetings is big for me because, and I just need to chill. But I don't really like do anything. Like, I don't know, like right now, like we swim in the pool and we just, like the kid is off school. So we just spend time together, like nothing in particular. I just need to like kind of like, not do anything.
Just chill, block everything off, turn off social media.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that's what I found for myself is that social media started to like really exhausting me so much.
Yeah.
That's why I like got off the Instagram. Like I'm not doing anything right now. Like I just can't. But I was going to say this about you is that like it seems like you're so driven and so like active and you have like so much energy in terms of like business and all of this is that it's healthy. Like if you feel fun and great working like as many hours as you want to during the week, then that's what you should be doing, right? It's just the only reason why I'm like kind of more addressing like burnout is because I personally like super subjected, because what I do is like not cool. Like my pattern is that I run super fast for a super short period of time, and then I burn myself out, and then I recover, and then again I run very fast, and I plan for a short period of time, and I burn out myself again, and it's like pattern continuous. Yes. So that's why but the most important thing is just having fun, and it seems like you do. So
yes, I try to have fun. Try to have fun when that's the main thing, is try to have fun in this entire journey. To any RCIC out there that's just getting into this journey, keep fun the top of your list, whatever you do. Have fun in making content, have fun in taking those first few files, have fun in building a team and building a training manual, and don't get stressed out over it. You're going to teach yourself and you're going to learn as you go and you grow. There's no one manual for it all. Everybody has, like you say, everybody has their own journey. There's no cookie cutter way to it, and that's perfect the way you described it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
in the beginning of the sorry.
And watch Olena's videos to learn more.
Thank you, Ray. Well, in the beginning of this, I told you let's keep it under 30 minutes, and we're way beyond that. Yes, we can. But let's wrap it up. And can I ask you for one single advice that you can give to RCSTs, whether it's just life advice, business advice, a book, a movie, just one thing?
One thing. Okay. So if I have to just give one piece of advice, is if you are looking into getting into the immigration practice and you think that you're just going to do it on your own, regardless, prepare a training manual for, even if it's for yourself, so that in the future, whenever you're expanding, whatever you're learning now, you can pass that on to the people that you're hiring, and you don't have to redo everything from scratch. This is from a mistake that I made. I didn't make a training manual from the get-go, and if I had done that, it would have probably saved me a lot of time and effort that I could have basically passed down to the people that I've hired. So that, and have fun, and make sure that you are just staying up to date with rules, regulations, and being competent. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. You said it perfectly about training manual. I just want to add quickly to that. Most of people don't do it. I literally had no idea about what is SOP until my husband Corey joined me, and he used to work in aircraft building, like he used to inspect aircrafts, and he just came, and his first day at our work, like he's like, "Do you have an SOP?" Like, and I'm like, "What is that?" and then we started, yes, but now I actually hired somebody because it's a lot of work to create those SOPs. So I hired somebody to create and to help me like put my vision into it. Standard operating procedures that RCICs in my course would have access to. So I'm trying to create like hopefully templated SOPs for all RCICs, so they can use it because. Because I wish I had it. I literally didn't even know that.
Yeah, and probably just let me know when you make those, because there's probably SOPs that I don't even have, like in for certain cases, and I could probably benefit from those as well. So I would really love to have access to those.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ray. Thank you for your time. It was so much fun, and I wanted to talk to you for hours and hours and hours. So I hope to meet for you for dinner. With you.
Thank you. I'm definitely going to meet up with you. I'll be in Mississauga pretty soon, so we'll meet up for coffee and talk some more. But this was amazing. Thank you for having me on your podcast. And I really, really love what you're doing. Please continue doing it. You're helping so many new RCICs out there. So many.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Okay, bye.
Okay. Bye.